Satellite imagery shows that North Korea has cleared up the North Korean side of the entrance facilities of the Inter-Korean Liaison office that it blew up 4 years ago. What's on the North's mind? We're joined by Dr. Bruce Bennett for more. Welcome back.
Thank you very much.
So the imagery was taken by Planet Labs, and the North did the same for the South Korean side last month. What's on the North's mind?
I think the North is trying to tempt South Korea into offering compromises that would assist the North. We know from what U.S. Ambassador Turner has said, Kim Jong-un appears to be in relatively difficult internal circumstances. And so he's obviously looking for something from the outside, including from South Korea, that would help him strengthen his image within the North.
I see. Well, as my colleague reported just now, South Korean officials are finalizing the foreign minister's first trip to China in more than 6 years, ahead of a summit between the leaders of South Korea, Japan, and China, which is expected to take place in mid-May here in Seoul. Now, later in May. Now, of course, it's likely that South Korea's top diplomat will ask China once again to play a constructive role in dealing with North Korea issues. The question is, will Beijing listen this time?
Oh, I think Xi Jinping's answer will be obvious. I think he'll say, you're not giving me credit for everything I've been doing for you. I have been helping you with Kim Jong-un, or things could be more difficult. Look at what Kim announced in December. I tried to tone that down, but I did as much as I can. So I think efforts to get China to do more will be very difficult. It is possible that China will agree to do that, but China has always argued that it doesn't have much leverage on North Korea, and I don't think that argument is going to change in this case.
All right, it's been pretty challenging to persuade China to do something constructive and always in the past few years. Now, Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida has been long pursuing for a summit with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, mainly to bring up his approval rating over in Japan. Now, if a summit between the leaders of China and Japan takes place, will Kishida be able to make a convincing argument and ask Beijing for help to make that happen?
Well, he will certainly make that request. Again, China is likely to say, we just don't have much leverage here, so we can't help you very much. But I think we have to remember that this isn't just about Kishida's popularity. The Japanese still think there are Japanese being held captive in North Korea that they're trying to liberate, much as Israel is trying to liberate captives that Hamas is holding. This is a very sensitive issue when your own national countrymen are being held by another country. And so I think Kishida is prepared to make some compromises to get Kim Jong-un to consider that. I'm just not sure that Kim thinks that there's much he has to get out of such of a discussion.
Definitely. That's why it's been so difficult to convince Kim Jong-un to come out and have a summit with Kishida. And now, in the meantime, North Korea this past Sunday slammed the U.S. and other countries for seeking an alternative to the UN monitoring panel that enforced sanctions against Pyongyang after the same panel was unable to be renewed because of Russia's veto. Would an alternative panel be effective enough to keep the regime under control?
Well, we have to remember that the UN panel didn't keep the regime under control. They managed to reduce somewhat the things they were doing by exposing them. But there was many violations of the UN sanctions that still went on with the panel meeting. That said, a replacement panel is very important. If we can get the replacement panel, they can continue reporting on North Korean violations. And while none of that reporting will stop North Korea, it may slow it down a bit, especially if some of the sources of electronic components, funding, so forth, are reported by that panel. That's going to be embarrassing for the outside groups helping North Korea. And so that's an important thing to have continue.
Right, especially when North appears to be caring so much about its image on the global stage. And Russian President Vladimir Putin is visiting China in mid-May for a summit with his counterpart Xi Jinping. How likely is it that Putin will stop by North Korea as well?
I think there's an even chance that he'll try to do that. Let's face it, for Putin, the key issue is, does he have much to gain from it? Is there something North Korea can give him? Are they prepared to announce something that North Korea is going to give him, or he's going to announce something he's going to give North Korea? For example, let's say he announces that he's giving major missile defense or air defense capabilities to North Korea. That would make him look very powerful and make him very pleased that Putin would do that. Best done in person.
Right, especially when the talks include the apparent arms deals between Russia and North Korea, and possibly taking China into the group circle of friends.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, and your insights, as always, we appreciate it.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.